Hey everybody, how you doing? Two minor matters of news in the National Football League. One recent, the other it happened earlier this year, but was just settled last week. And the first one, of course, you know about is Aaron Rodgers. And Aaron, of course, had the awful accident where he tore his Achilles on the fourth play of the contest, a Monday night football game that was the most watched in NFL history. How about that? Of all the NFL games, how about that? The most watched in NFL history, the most watched. And everything was set for a magical night. It was 9/11. It occurred in New York. They had a new would be savior in Aaron Rodgers, right? Go Bears, Cal quarterback. And they even had Nathaniel Hackett as once offensive coordinator, eager to prove himself after a disastrous 1 year with the Denver Broncos. All of these different draft picks, arguably the best draft class from the previous year, all of that to set the stage for Monday night. And on the fourth play of the game, Rodgers gets sacked. In fact, the way he got sacked in and of itself is controversial from a perspective of football strategy and tactics. It was a short pass, but the tackles were kicking out, blocking, trying to execute a kind of block that really isn't legal anymore about the waist. Why? Because they being the offensive tackles and the offensive coordinator, want the defensive end to sit down and be less likely to bat a quick pass out to the wide receiver. That was the idea. Trouble is that defensive ends don't always get that message, and they don't like having their knees cut off from them, right? So this particular gentleman managed to sidestep the tackle and zoom right in on Aaron. Aaron couldn't get out of the way, and he got kind of an ankle sack, but in such a way it was so smooth and slow, you would be uh, relieved of the duty of thinking something went wrong. But something did go wrong. Something very, as you and I both know, very very major went wrong. And so I said, and I thought earlier that, hey, this is it for Aaron Rodgers. He's going to have to rehab. He's playing with 40 years old. I'm 61. And he is just going to have to sit it out for a while and rehab. And by that, when he comes back, it's not going to be the same. And he's going to have to retire or quit, or he will just go ahead and do it. That was my thinking. And by the fact that I kept saying it so uh, continuously just a moment ago, it's still in my head, but it's not in Aaron's head. Aaron's comment to his detractors, I'm not detracting him, I'm only looking at what I believe is a realistic point of view, that he will rise again. He said, I will rise again. How about that? That's powerful thinking. I certainly hope he does. It would be a fantastic statement for us older chaps, no doubt. And regardless of how we might look, right? Some people think I'm 25, but I'm not. But anyway, do I have the maturity of a 25-year-old? Okay. Point is, Aaron is out of surgery. It went well. It went quickly. It went smoothly. And now he's on the long road to rehab. Let's see how it goes. Let's see what happens to him. We'll find out in a year. Although, who's to say he won't be better and ready to go back in action earlier? I seriously doubt it. Okay. But you never know. I don't know the man, but I'm acquainted with who he is. I was there. Well, I'm acquainted with him. I was there when he was drafted by the Green Bay Packers after a very long wait. We all waited with him. It was agonizing. My interviews with his family members are at my sports business simulations news site to this day. I should have them moved over. But it was awful. I thought that the Niners were going to take him. And I still don't understand why they didn't. Number one. Instead, they took Alex Smith. And we saw what happened with that. He was mated with Alex, an offensive coordinator named Michael McCarthy, who was just, learning things, a rookie himself. And the offense they put on the field, or rather McCarthy put on field for Alex Smith, it just didn't go right at all. It was too simple, too predictable, just not effective. It wasn't even the Niners' classic Bill Walsh style of offense, which ironically McCarthy later wound up learning, and bringing, or running, I should say, with the Green Bay Packers and thriving. Let's just give him his due. All right. Now, let's shift to the conversation of Michael Irvin. Michael Irvin was the victim of something that's happened to the majority, I would wager, of black men over 18, at or over 18 in this country, being falsely accused of doing something. The unfortunate linchpin example of this happened to someone who wasn't even a man, he was a kid. His name was Emmett Till. In 1955, Emmett Till was accused of, in Mississippi, whistling at a white woman. He's 15, okay? And so Carolyn Bryant's, not one, not two, not three, but four male family members, including her husband, she was 21, sought this 15-year-old boy out and beat him to death, to a point where his face was unrecognizable. He was 15. But it shows you just how inhumane they were and how loopy and out of it anybody who's racist is. Okay? So that's in our history. What I'm saying is that happened less than 100 years ago, far less. So here we are, fast forward to today, and we're talking about Michael Irvin being, hey, another falsely accused black man. Or let's take George Floyd, another example. George Floyd, what did George Floyd really do? Okay, can anyone tell me? Can you? Do you know what George Floyd actually did? He was accused of, and this was never proven really, passing a counterfeit $20 bill. Okay, that's what he was accused of doing. But did he really? Okay. Did you see the $20 bill? I didn't see the $20 bill. Who actually saw the $20 bill that George Floyd was accused of passing? For all of that, it took not one, not two, not three, but four Minneapolis police officers. One of them named Derek Chauvin to decide that he was going to, and Derek knew this guy. He knew George Floyd. Put a knee on his neck for 8 minutes. I saw it. Undoubtedly, you saw it too. Okay? It was horrible. It was an open expression of the fact that racism has not left us. The evil, the mental illness has not left us. And all of that poured onto the fate of former Dallas Cowboys wide receiver Michael Irvin, who, and this has been shown again and again and again, and it's worth looking at the video again, the actual video. He did absolutely nothing wrong. Absolutely nothing wrong. They lied about him, told lies about this man, as is, the habit, and tried to basically show that, well, or say, oh, he said something inappropriate to a woman, and he didn't at all. In fact, if you take a look at the actual video in detail, the video shows that the full video, okay, the interaction, all right, and I'm going to play the one that was on WFAA. Hold on a second. Shows her going to him after some guy was prodding her to talk to him. They were up to something. They were clearly up to something, okay? You got to see this if you haven't seen it before. It's worth seeing right now because it is purely fishy. This is from WFAA television in Dallas, and I will activated right now. Well, let's go back here so we can get it started right here. And yeah, go here. Here it starts. This is 2/5/2023. Michael Irvin is going to appear. He's walking down here. See where my cursor's pointing right there? He's walking in. Now, the lady that's involved in this, okay, is appears later. This is the manager right here. He's walking along. All right. Irvin is here. This is the restaurant. Okay. So this all takes, these are fans who have spotted Irvin, who was in for the Cardinal training camp as a member of NFL media on the NFL network. That lady in the highlight, look where she's walking. She is the woman. Okay. Now she sees him and then she goes in here quickly first. All right. Then they step out. There's some conversation here, but there's more than one person. Okay. And that's Michael Irvin. Now, clearly, no bad body language, just a conversation anybody could be having in that corridor. Anyone. There's another person standing here, somebody else. I don't know who this person is. Okay. But there's nobody, there's nothing going on. This gentleman is looking. He's the manager, the guy that I'm circling here. Okay. He can see what's going on. All right. He can clearly see what's going on here. And then he walks up over here. All right. Watch this guy back here as they're talking. She's making gesture to him, talking, clearly just, having a chat. Nobody appears to be uncomfortable on anything. Here's a man here. Okay. Another man here on a phone. All right. And that other gentleman is still back here. All right. And they're talking. And Michael just gives a detail or something like that, but he's like laughing. It's like he's laughing about something. Okay. There. And so this conversation is, not. Now here's a man here, another man here. They both know it's Michael Irvin, so they're hovering, right? They're hovering. She goes back in here, all right, and then he comes back there, and then she goes over here, I believe, and yeah, they go back over here. Okay, they go back over here. All right, and then they go back over here. Okay. All right. Now, what I find interesting is why the lady would come up here. She sees Michael Irvin and then she goes in here. It was very bizarre. But there's another angle here. All right. And see, he's coming back over this way. Okay. And there he goes over there. All right. But there's another angle from here pointing in that direction where you can actually see that she was here watching and then she came over. All right. So the upshot of all of this is the Marriott wound up paying Michael Irvin $25 million. You understand? $25 million in the settlement. But the Marriott basically said, well, the hotel didn't have to pay anything. Okay, well, the Marriott did. The chain did. So that was an interesting twist of words. They were happy that it was settled without any exchange of money. Well, there was exchange of money. Whoever said that lied. It was all over. 25 million. $25 million. So we have to go back here and ask, all right, why? Here comes Michael, all right? And then here is this lady. She was back here, okay? And then she goes over here And it looked initially like she was going to go in here, but didn't. All right. And then kept walking. Now, all right, this way. Okay. And then as she sees Michael Irvin coming, she goes right back in here. Now, how come she couldn't have gone this way? All right. Why couldn't she have gone this way? Why was it so important to go here and then come out and then come back this way? Right? Okay. So they were clearly up to something. And here's the manager now. Look at where he came from as we go back. Okay. He was initially, see, that's her, right? There. But there's another development as she's going over there. And here's the manager guy over here. Okay. Walking. And then he looks over here. All right. And keeps looking. Now, he could have, being a manager, he could have walked over and said, "Hey, welcome to the Marriott." But instead, he's just watching from a distance, like he's up to something. All right. So these are the seeds. This is the anatomy of fraud. All right. Michael Irvin didn't do anything wrong. Her angle of attack, going out rather than coming into the restaurant, going in the restaurant only after she spotted him, that in of itself was eerie, 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 eerie. There are too many instances, even today, of Black men being falsely accused of doing things. And settlements like this should be announced as a statement to say, hey, look, there are people who are paying out money because that's a crime to falsely accuse somebody of an inappropriate behavior. Michael Irvin has too much to lose to even act the way that they said he acted. And then not only that, who is that lady and did they fire her? So I'm going to dig more into this. And the other question is that Marriott a place where Black men are safe? Or are we constantly under siege yet again? Subscribe to Zenny62 and bookmark oaklandnewsnowblog.com and Zenny62.com and ZennyReport.com. That ends the